Modern day computers are providing hundreds and thousands of instructions, but then what we shall see is, we shall take a general purpose computer, just as an example. We will not restrict ourselves to any particular processor. We shall see what are the instructions that have to be provided by any normal computer to become a general purpose computer. Here we are not going to focus on what type of computer it is, so which means I am not going to take any particular architecture, x86, nothing. I'll not take any architecture. In general, we shall talk about the instructions first, and we shall see what are the various types of instructions, and we shall list them all and study them first. Later, I'll take a subset of these instructions and try to implement them in a hardware. That is called as CPU design or hardware design. Okay, so first let's focus on what are the types of instructions we have. Okay, now see this. Instructions can be broadly classified into three types. So types of instructions, they can be broadly classified into three types. First one is the instructions which will move the data. We might have to move the data from memory into the registers, or from register to register. I'll just show you. So let's call it as data transfer instructions. So data transfer instructions are the instructions which are generally used to move the data, so from where to where, like this. If you have a memory, and in CPU we have registers, right? So sometimes we might have to move the data from memory to registers for processing, and then sometimes we might have to move the data from one register to other register, right? Or sometimes we might have to move the data from register to memory. All these instructions are going to form data transfer instructions. And the second type of instructions is data manipulation instructions. So data manipulation instructions are nothing but they can be classified into again three types. So like this: arithmetic operations. So arithmetic operation is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all those. And then logical operations. So logical OR, logical AND. So we shall see them later. And then shift operations: shift left, shift right, arithmetic shift, arithmetic right. All these operations are actually used in order to manipulate the data or transform the data. That is why they are called as data manipulation operations. And the next one is control. Program control instructions. So the program control instructions are generally used to make the decisions, right? So what are the decisions is when you want to exit a loop, or when you want to continue a loop, or when do you want to exit some statements, or when do you want to not execute some statements. So all these statements like if, for loop, while loop, right? All such statements generally are dependent or implemented using these instructions, program control instructions. Therefore, for any processor to become a general purpose processor, and if it has to execute all the modern day programs, it has to provide some instructions in this category, and some instructions in this category, and some instructions in this category. Now we shall take each category separately, and we shall see what are the types of instructions that are being provided by most of the computers. Without restricting ourselves to a particular computer, we shall see what are the types of instructions provided by most of the computers, and later we shall take a subset of them and try to implement them in hardware. Okay, so this is very important, or the most important topic in computer architecture. We have to understand what are all the types of instructions first. Okay.